ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Conolric.
Rangru, hello, hello, hello.
And folks, today we are on Slutsk for a playoffs match here from Division 3. Rang, who do we have? What do they bring in?
Left hand side in the blue, we have Yepcock playing as Panzer Division Tatra of a balanced income. Right hand side in the red, we have IL2 ready for booty busting, otherwise known as Flix, playing as the 43rd Reserve Army with a maverick income.
So we are going to see an early IL2KR, just kind of getting a little bit of recon here. Nice little, what is that? Always at 75 points. It always feels like it's going to be cheaper still, but those early cannons definitely do give a little bit of necessary firepower to kind of strafe.
Yeah, really playing to his namesake.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, ironically though, other than those recons, we're not going to see a lot of IL2s. We'll see IL4s, but no
Yeah.
IL2s otherwise.
Well, an IL4 is just two IL2s strapped together.
Ah, I knew I was missing something there, but you're absolutely right. How did I forget that?
We're seeing
Um,
both
mhm.
sides are going in quite hot early on there. Down south, Yepcock is pushing the southern hill very aggressively. IL2 or Flix not so much.
Well, in the meantime here, I mean, Yepcock over here, he's being aggressive, but the Yak 9s, the early recons, it's going to cause a lot of hassles here, especially against those kind of, let's say, more battlefront infantry, the Pioneers over here with the MG-26s getting hammered hard, the MG-42 getting hammered by bombs as well. Um, what are you thinking, though? Strafniki, Fanatics, got that PTRD over here. Is that enough to chase away this T-31?
Uh, might be. Yeah, PTRD is definitely good, but all the other equipment down south will make it quite difficult to hold. North, a rather aggressive push here from Flix, managing to get into the far northern town and still contesting it. Great use of smoke into the more northern forest, but he's kind of lacking the firepower because that Panzer III is a pain in the ass.
It certainly is, at least for the where it is right now. That BA-10 technically can kill it, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Technically,
well, I mean, it's one of those things where if it bleeds, they can kill it, and I
uh,
think he's definitely going to at some point. Just
well, might
the
be
people.
enough.
Wow.
Yeah, he doesn't want to tangle with the BA-10, and this will give Flix the opportunity to clear the rest of his forest.
Well, we are going to see a captured Zis being brought in over here underneath Tatra, trying to support that earlier kind of northern town. Not really going to be enough to really take back anything really worthwhile for the time being. And you can start to see the Russians are getting some really, really thick kind of appendage fingers going on in there into the
Mm-hmm.
German lines.
Grabbing into the cookie jar of Belarus to retake that territory from the Germans. But yeah, down south, I know it's quite interesting. Both sides going very hard at it. I mean, Yepcock has that 2-3 run and doing some rear line action. So I'd be curious to see if he manages to actually kill anything.
Well, the BA-10 like rotating back around, and actually 230 wants to get first shot here, so I think he actually has potential. There we go. Okay. Oh, wow, that was a
Ow.
mutual. Wow, that was like a Romeo and Juliet situation there, except they didn't really love each other that much.
No, no.
No. Now, Cherno's over here, but going up against Landesschützen kind of across the map. The Strafnikis over here are going up against Pioneers across the map. It's kind of funny to see that both sides are really kind of going with that meat shield, but at the same time, don't want to trust just those meat shields with holding territory.
Yeah, we're seeing both sides use a lot of more of the cheap infantry, but backing up with a lot of light armor, especially Panzer Division Tatra. As you do have a really lovely tank and recon tab with that division, with all sorts of armored vehicles from big
Yep.
to small.
Very, very true. Now, T-31 is behind the front lines here. He actually has a really, really beautiful line of sight. Unfortunately, he also sees a T-34-85 coming the other direction.
Yeah. And that 45 mil also sees him, which is not ideal.
No, that is not. You can see right now putting down some beacon over here just to kind of remind himself where some of that firepower might be. Stovepipe coming in on the left-hand side for the Germans. There still is a 82 mil that is hopping off over here. No more smoke, but there's fire. Just he's not going to drop it anywhere necessarily perfectly important just yet.
Yup. But yeah, we're 5 minutes or so into A phase. I mean, Flix does have pretty good momentum up north. Still hasn't managed to be able to kill that annoying Panzer III and 2-3 run. So Yepcock does have a pretty good opportunity to retake the northern area, but it's gonna come down once again to the classic Maverick first, balanced, dynamic. Will Flix be able to keep up his momentum and make significant territorial changes in the next 15 minutes or so?
I don't know that he's going to. I mean, he does have the early kind of aerial advantage. Looking over here on the reverse side of things, there's a door near the 217s. Not really what you want to have as a fighter kind of aircraft here, but
Only
he's
at
one of
night
those
time.
nine. Interesting.
Only at night time. It's great in the night battles, but I
Oh
know
yeah, yeah. Please.
losing the southern side here for Flix. I mean that hill position is such an important position because this does give Yepcock the ability to continue pressure from that hill into the rest of the southern town, and that's going to be a very hard area for Flix to take hold of. But it seems like he's pushing much more in the center and up north, which is definitely a smarter play for him.
Certainly does seem to be the case. The 20 just makes it one single gun run and goes on in. LA7's probably going to take him out though pretty easily.
Yep.
Yikes. That is not a good trade. Not a good trade at all. Now, mortars coming in as well. Try to go after that 45 mil inside that central position. Superior's being rushed onto the front, so we're probably going to see some small, not truly mechanized engagements, but just stuff that's just a bit above what needle contests that always seem to be the case of infantry fights everywhere.
Yeah, and we're seeing a big infantry push here from Yepcock with
Mm-hmm.
all of the Pioneer MG26s, and at one Strafniki, he's really going to have to try and earn back his allegiance to the Soviet Union here against this horde of Germans.
I don't know that he's really got the firepower to do it, but we are going to see things like T-3045s, SU-152s rotating around, and SU-152 first shot takes out a machine gun position. Not exactly the space you want to be in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But continue to develop. KV-1 was flirting with the idea of going up against that P3. I like the fact that he's pushing it away. Not really sure that's going to go particularly well for him. The Strafniki trades out with a Panther Shrek, but now he's been revealed, which means everybody and their sister is firing on him.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need a little bit more fire support. Reduce the T-34s coming down to help, but he is not fearless. Well, technically is. He's fanatical, so he's going to be holding out building to the last man.
Yes, indeed. Now we are seeing some supportive fire here. It wasn't stovepipes. Trying to figure out who's engaging that grenadier.
It's just T-34s.
Oh, it's a tank. Yep.
T-34s on the hill. And the
Yep.
SU-152's coming in. It's definitely helping out quite a bit. That Flix is able to keep his IL-2 in constant reconnaissance and also close air support roles, as he's been able to spot a lot of these incoming forces.
But we are starting to see some small measures of anti-aircraft net with a 20 mil to the south. Not a whole lot yet to the north. P3, by the way, does go down, I think, courtesy of the KV-1.
Yep.
And a 231 over here is going to probably follow him into the grave pretty quickly as well. Yep.
KV-1 does not mess about. And those are some very big kills here for Flix, as that pretty much clears out the forest of any armoured vehicles. If he was to get some more infantry, some anti-tank guns in there, yeah, and you can really start settling down in that forest, make a nice little encampment, cook some marshmallows, and just blow up Germans you cross the open field.
I get the feeling sometimes that your time as a scout was very different than my time as a scout.
You didn't make Molotovs?
No,
Oh.
I wasn't part. That wasn't a badge I ever got. I got the punji stick badge, so I think I was in the Vietnam camp.
Oh, you did the Asian exchange program. I see.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
cool.
I went to the east, as the non-political term is now. Now we got a couple of half tracks who are going 2x2 over here into kind of off the hillside, and it's kind of funny because these things, again, theoretically, nice fire support. But there's fire support, not the base of fire, and we're going to see what's going to happen to them pretty quickly, I think.
Yeah, if okay, the Panda Shrek is moving up. I thought it was a little bit undecided there. But being so close to forest with half tracks is not a rise idea for one's health. But we are seeing just, continuous pressure here from Flix. We're on to B phase. He hasn't managed to gain a great point advantage, but it definitely feels like he has very good momentum potential up north and then in center still. The question is, how hard will the south fall? Because it's fallen pretty hard, but I don't think it can fall much further.
I gotta disagree with you about saying he's got the potential for momentum in the north. Look at the north right now. There's two P-38s going in. There's two Martyrs going in there.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
still a P-3. There's the captured Zis gun. And what's he got up there? Yes, he has a T-34-85 and kind of Overwatch. He's got a couple Superior squads. He's got a BA-10. That Superior squad goes down. He goes down almost to a -2 bleed. And that's really without the map changing too much.
There's a lot of armor support here now from Yepcock. He really wants to try and retake that northern town. He's definitely going to need he needs a lot more infantry, but he should have enough. But, yeah, it's going to be very important here for Flix to get into that forest. If he was to get into that position, he could provide good fire support against, well, the armored vehicles are really camping the northern sector here. Yeah, he's really avoiding that forest, which is actually a very smart move from Yepcock.
I cannot help but agree. No. Shrek takes out one of the half-tracks. The other half-track's at 100 rounds, okay. He'll probably kill that Panther Shrek, which is still a pretty good kill. Let's get that right. And Grenadiers might be fighting off a small group of... Oh, I say small group. 2 squads of Superiors, so that might be the superior choice here.
Yeah, and there's not really a whole lot of anti-armor, especially in the town, so it's going to be very easy to rout the Russian infantry, and that one T-34-85 is going to have to pick up a lot of slack.
Well, he's edgelording right now, so I still don't think that's really going to be the best decision for him.
He has the high ground, Joe. We've got to take that into account.
That's true, and he's got the aim in, too. Just got a Martyr 3 over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I'm the Martyr, I don't really want to give my life up for the cause just yet. I would just continue to get nice and close into that town.
Yeah. But yeah, Yepcock, definitely a good amount of fire support to get into that northern town and retake that one flag. He's done a very good job, really, especially now, getting into B phase, of curbing his momentum. I mean, this southern side, he's very well dug in. It's going to be hard for Flix to try and push on through. I mean, he does have support guns while supporting, but he's going to have to blow up a lot of those buildings before he can get a good foothold into that town.
Worth mentioning first, IL-4 coming on in. He's going to pound the front of that. The Field Diago is probably almost guaranteed to go down. Oh no, position 88 there.
He's not going to drop his bombs.
That could be a bit of a deadly mistake.
Yeah.
IL-4, not really known for their flexibility and kind of changing targets on the fly.
Yeah, I think
Also,
there's some misclick in target management.
Well, there's just as much an issue in target management from that Tiger who takes out the T-34-85. Yes, we have a Tiger on the field. It is not going to be good.
It's still alive, huh?
Well, give it a second. It's not Fitman, so.
Yeah.
Field Diggers. Oh yeah, that's right. Field Diggers has the G43.
Hmm.
Oh man.
There's
Okay,
a scope.
those are discipline units that are worthwhile in my mind.
Yeah.
MP44s, G43. That is a crazy amount of firepower for the wee cost. Are really not all that much. 15 points.
Yeah,
It's
that
really
was,
freaking good.
it's a real nice bonus of Panzer Division Archer because they have 15-point snipers. And also the ability to keep your land shooting from running away. It's very easy to discipline troops when you have an assault rifle.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, we're starting to see it's 13-11 still. BF-109s are starting to make gun runs over here into the actual field themselves. It's really just because of this central position. It's been a little bit weaker than it needs to be. And we're seeing aggression back to the south as well. Interesting. Wow, we turn away, we look back, SU-152. KV-1, SU-85, T-34-76. Like, that is not a armored fist to sneeze at.
Yeah, he's really been investing quite heavy in the reserve armor, which the Army Reserve has available to him. And I do like how Flix has been able to refocus his forces. He's not trying to grind out up north at this point. It's gonna be a pretty hard battle to retake that town, but he's refocusing towards the center and doing a actual surprisingly good attack in the south here. He's got enough armored support to just blow up all the infantry and really anything that stands in his way. He just needs more infantry to slowly clear through that town.
Yes, he does. And looking right now, let's think about what's actually over there to kind of push back. There was a stovepipe. I think the stovepipe is gone. No, it's actually down to the south here. There's still a P3 scout. So the biggest really concern is that P3, and now we have a Tiger and a Martyr rotating around.
Yeah.
Another Tiger actually making its presence felt by taking out T-34 in the central position. So as more and more heavy tanks come online, yes, I realize the fact there's only 2 Tigers in Phase B. That's going to be a harder and harder prospect, I feel like.
Indeed, but at the same time, IL-2 does have an IS-2, and he's bringing that into the center. So once he kills that other Tiger, there's no real other scary heavy armor threat he has to worry about. And he still has a lot of armored assets on the field. Of course, with Mavericking comes, we're getting towards the end of his point dominance. The crest in his river here will be able to keep trading efficiently, and to, keep his snowball effect of all this armor up on the battlefield. Because if he starts losing a lot of tanks, it's going to be very hard for him to recover.
True. Forgive me, I was thinking to look over here to see what the late game prognosis would be in terms of Yepcock, i.e., what would he be bringing on in? What would be the kind of the shove that would be happening here? We're seeing a really, really cheeky flag pickup. Make it a 15-9.
Oh, yeah.
And just as soon as that, it's coming right back off the other direction.
So far, yeah, Flix has been able to regain this momentum quite impressively. Towards the end of B phase, unfortunately for him, but if he was to get that +2, he'd be in a good position.
If it's very good, but at the same time, if is a problem. Now, these BF-109s, I'm not sure I really like... Okay, yeah, there we go. I was going to say, he's bringing BF-109s to not a whole lot of usage just yet. I'm not really sure why he was doing that.
He was trying to intercept something from before. Just a little bit
Perhaps.
late on the trigger.
Perhaps. Now, one thing we haven't talked about, yes, there still is that scary IS-2, but there's 5 equally scary little punks over here on Tatra's side, and that's the Pac-40s. IS-2's got a very, very thick skin, but the Pac-40 can still penetrate that skin.
Yeah, especially at closer range.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's going to be... These few tank engagements which are going to happen will probably end up being quite important here. I mean, IL-2 does have the combat T-34 up and running, so he's probably going to use that to buff the IS-2 quite significantly. And he still has a decent amount of cheaper medium tanks and SUs for fire support. He's making very good progress in the central town, which is this big fist of angry Russians. But Yepcock has managed to set up a pretty decent defensive line.
Indeed. Indeed. And that's the issue, isn't it? Is that Tatra over here, yes, they get over a third of their infantry in this last phase. But 43rd Reserve Army, I don't think he has any card actually over here in the C phase.
Yes, he does.
Which is struck me.
He has the Superiors in C phase.
Okay.
So he does have at least that 1 infantry card, which is always, even as Maverick, you want to have 1 infantry card in C phase. Unless you're really confident you can win in like 30 minutes.
I would not be that confident.
Yep, same.
Now, by the same token, though, 43rd Reserve Army bringing in a wealth of material just as Phase B comes to a close. I think this becomes that final kind of desperate throw to pick up the southern side of the field yet again.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest issue is that theoretically this P3 could rotate up 100 yards, 150 meters, and make it really, really deadly.
At the same time, it's a lot of, like, fire support here from Flix to actually ward off that P3 if he decides to crest over the hill.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair.
Yeah. This is actually, I do like how he's repositioning all the way down south now. We're seeing, of course, with his push in the southern central position, yeah, a lot of Yepcock's forces have been relocated here. So the far south has been, quite unattended. And Flix, having that good game feel, is going to feel that, and well, it depends on how well the tank of decent need key can get in up close. But I do like how he is pushing different areas of the map instead of tunnel vision.
True. True. I'm checking that out. P3 is dead. Oh no, P3 rotated. Excuse me. I got distracted watching the Pack 40 start to engage something and getting engaged at the same time.
Oh.
But 1410, it is in now the time for that balance to shine. Seeing Stokes being brought on in. We see the Tiger being rotated for P38s, P4s, P's everywhere. So, and by the way, we have the Panzerwerfer to the northern side. There's only one half of the devastating Katyusha-like firepower which might be able to come out. So I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, Yepcock now is in a pretty good position to try start some offensive operations, maybe up north. He definitely has a good firepower advantage here. I don't know if he really realizes that due to his lack of recon to really tell. But also, it's just, I think he's going to be very focused down south quite shortly due to this massive attack here from Flix.
Absolutely accurate. SU-152 kind of tickling that P3 quite a bit and getting tickled in return. Apparently it wasn't quite the joke he was looking for because he goes down a bit of fiery blaze here. But a whole company of T-34-76s, that is not a good prognosis for that P3. It's not a really good prognosis for most things, but definitely not for that P3.
Oh. The tanks of Nidki have taken some pretty heavy casualties just because the T-34 took a little bit to get to the front line, but he still has a pretty good momentum down south here to continue his assault.
Help even more so as the P3 dies, the Flak Virulene is going to die, and just a couple of Grenadiers being brought on in. I'm surprised it's as meager a force being brought in as it is.
Yeah, he's bringing in some more P3s now. I think he's been much more focused in the central position, as Flix has been able to hold on to the hill here still, which is a very good position for him to be in control of, especially with IS-2, which he's now moving up a bit closer to provide, well, I'll say close range, but still pretty long range fire support.
True. Now, the one thing I'm enjoying here is we are seeing such crazy kind of extended range tank fights. This isn't the knife fighting all the time that we're kind of used to. Ooh, HE-111... He better be hitting something quick. He's going after that IS-2 bombs away. He gets them off. He's probably going to make it out, but at the same time, some really crazy scatter on those, I would feel.
Yeah. And those bombs, of course, dropping rather inaccurately due to all the suppression he took. And we're seeing some rocket bombs up north here as Yepcock is trying to continue its northern aggression. Just trying to kill some of IL-2's units. Yeah, even as a Tiger up north as well. So, yeah, interesting. I'd be curious to see how, if Yepcock does decide to make a big offensive play up north, there's not a whole lot stopping him, but does he know that?
Well, he knows he's going to know now, as basically, territory after territory, chunks are just going to fall into his hands.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he still is down 15-9, so he's got just under 7 minutes to really be kind of kicking into high gear here.
Mm-hmm. And Flix is still making some very good progress down south. He has the potential, Flix is, to get 1, maybe 2 flags in the southern hill sector if he does continue his push. I mean, there's only a few German infantry left on that hill. Of course, some tank reinforcements being brought on up. No, IS-2
is dead, by the way. He is quite dead.
Yeah, good use of firepower from Yepcock. He's devoted a lot of resources to blow up that piece of steel aluminium. And it paid off, because, well, it's going to be hard for Flix to bring up another unit like that. He only has 2 of them on deck, and of course a high income price for them. So it actually gives Yepcock a good opportunity to retake some central locations.
Well, he's going to lose the south, that's the problem. Strafniki and Cherno's just absolutely flooding on in. It's going to be a 16-8 here yet again. Uh, every single time we kind of turn away, there just seems to be a new flood of Russians coming on in, a crimson tide, if you will.
Hmm. Which is definitely what Flix needs right now, because he's going to start losing some territory in this central position. And also probably up north sometime soon. Yepcock is
Yes.
starting to make some offensive plays. And that one tiger, oh wow.
Engine stall. How often you don't see that very often. It's kind of like, okay, the cannon gets screwed up, alright, the crew panics. But how often do you get an engine stall?
From a high explosive shell as well. I mean, to be fair, it's 152 millimeters of explosives. I think that would make any engine question its feasibility.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm still not thinking that, most of engines are going to think they're going to be seeing God, or, the Deus Machina over here, of
Yeah.
course. But, yeah, I was looking at that, like, does it shake apart? Is that what's going on here? I don't really know.
Yeah, I usually ask my mechanic to make sure that my engines are 152 millimeter proof. Apparently they're not.
Yeah, it's a problem these days. There's a
Yeah.
really, really, like, shoddy workmanship.
Hmm.
So,
They don't make them how
um,
they used to.
no, they don't.
Yeah.
No, they don't. Yak 9 does take out a martyr, and the IL-4, I think, is going to get its bombs. What? No, yet again, he loses sight. HE-111, not similarly affected. And even more of Fortress Belarusia is being carved away. SU-152 to the north going down. Yeah, it's just this really just Maxim, and that's really all that's holding back this rising tide.
Yeah, it's really Flix is just trying to hold his northern aggression for as long as possible. Which isn't that long. He's got the +2, pretty good advantage. He only needs to hold for 4 minutes. The question is, can he do that? He's got very good territorial gains down south, now completely retaken the southern hill, but Yepcock has some pretty scary armored forces now, and Flix is, well, he still has a decent amount of armored forces, but not as scary as it was 10 minutes ago.
Well, and therein is the fascinating part of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
Especially as the T-34-76 starts to take out some of his other troops being brought in by reinforcements. But the PaK-40s, the P-4s, the Tigers engaging in every single direction. Su-85 going down. The 85 mil anti-air still having a hassle there. Another engine stall on that Tiger E. Here we go. Now we're getting the kind of historical Tigers that we're used to.
Mm-hmm. And Yepcock is making very good progress. We're seeing some SS Sturm Grenadiers being brought in to clear up the town on, well, the downslope of the hill, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just zooming out here, Flix barely has anything up north. So he's making continuous counterattacks down south here. Some T-34s getting in quite hot and heavy with some Sturm Pyos.
These are at best, I would argue, spoiling attacks.
Yep. Because the Panzer IVs are going to relocate and force those T-34s back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Storm Grenadiers are going to pick up that rock. It's not a big issue there. Storm Pyos probably going to go down pretty quickly. And the Tiger goes down to a T-34 shot.
Yeah, that was a side shot and a half. Jeez. What a very important pickup here from IL-2.
Now, also, a rather unnoticed infantry fight, but a very, very important one regardless. Absolute Northern as the Chernos and the P-Gren squads face off against each other. These Chernos, there'll be one squad's going to get up the hillside, mostly because the other one over here is getting carved to bits.
Mm-hmm.
But if this Cherno squad dies, that's another flag, potentially even 2, that's going to go the other direction.
Yeah, I think at this point Flix is just kind of seeding the northern part of the map and just trying to full send down south. I mean, he's got 2 Panzer IVs and a Stunky S to contest with, so that's going to be pretty hard to break through with just 2 T-34s. And there's not that much flag potential down south here anymore. Like, you're going to push into the enemy spawn? That's not going to happen.
And you're absolutely right there. The question, though, is it's 2 minutes. Can that be held off for 2 minutes? And I don't know. I truly don't know. Because it feels like at this point, some of the brave defenders over here of the 43rd, they're getting carved. And there's down now it's the 3 minutes. So is this the breaking point? Is this where IL2, unfortunately, he might be ready for booty busting, but I don't know he's going to be able to be busting that booty anytime soon.
Yep. I think it's all going to come down to his northern push here, because
Hmm.
Yepcock can potentially get one. He can really get 2 flags up
Hmm.
north very easily. And if he can just stall that Trove for, 5-10 minutes, he's run the game.
True. True. Because at that point, the economy just becomes just way too much. Yeah.
Yep. We're getting to that
HE-111
breaking
actually as
point.
well. Actually, two
Ooh.
HE-111s. So two bombing runs. This could break the front lines. One of them's going to be danger close. He has potential to hit his own infantry here. But if anything survives, he's going to be able to take that flag as well. And it is a 12-12.
There we go. Yepcock's
And
in a
perfect.
really good position now.
Perfect. All four squads dead or dying, forced into bunkering kind of positions here. Northern positions as well, the 45 mils. One gets blown to pieces, another one gets pressured into cover. I mean, yeah, this is and a third one.
Oof.
Yeah, folks, this one is probably going to be over here. BF-109s, the Luftwaffe is taking horrific losses. Let's not forget that.
Yep. Yak 9B coming in hot and heavy, but northern side we're seeing Flix just full send what is left of his armoured forces, an SU-152 and an IS-2, which is pretty scary. It's only infantry he's having to contend with, and of course that Tiger, but the IS-2 does have a very good shot of killing the Tiger. The problem is, it's a lot of infantry you have to kill, and he doesn't have time on his side.
No, no, he doesn't. Now, the one thing that was probably lucky for him is that southern flag where those troops were bombed to hell and back. Um, no one really followed up after the fact, which is really, really unfortunate for them because that could have been a very easy pickup.
Yeah. Yeah, this is tight. It's a trove. I mean, Flix only needs to hold a flag for 2 minutes or so, which is still possible, and he is going to get that one flag all the way up north at Tanko Distant Idki. Very happy they got the Tanko to ride on. Well, it's not really a Tanko, but it's close enough. They couldn't modder actually ride in tanks, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, Russian tanks used to have a different term for the Tenko Desantniki. They called them a blade of armor. But yeah, I mean, that was a bit of a hassle for a time being. It is still 14-10, and it continues to tick, tick, tick the other direction. This is a moment that I'm just pressing, I'm just A moving everything.
Mm-hmm. You select everything and you full bloody send. Both sides.
Oh, absolutely. This is that scene in the movie where the bad guy is gonna be, going up against the hero, and yeah, and everybody else around them is just shouting bloody murder.
Oh. It's really coming down here for Flix as having these 2 tanks on the flag, as currently there's no real effective anti-tank to deal with them, apart from his Tiger, which is actually does have a chance at range, I'd say, to penetrate.
Well, and this gun can actually kill the SU-152. Actually, be
IS-2.
really cheeky. Oh my gosh, the 222 is coming from
Oh.
behind. Oh my gosh. Oh, 53 seconds, 40 seconds. And now Strafniki on the point. Oh my gosh, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. If that SU-152 goes down, if that IS-2 goes down, we're seeing barrages going the other directions. 13-11. One of these flags has to flip. It
Yeah.
has to flip, and it's going to happen right now. It's a 12-12. This might have been the closest thing we're going to be seeing for a very, very long period of time.
Yeah, Yepcock, he has pretty good momentum up north. I mean, we've got some Chernos being brought in, but oh no, the BA-10 might be able to suppress that Panzer Grenadier and clear the way for the Chernos to come through. We're seeing full-on attacks down south. The Strafniki are going to have to hold on to the flag in the southern town here. The Panzer Grenadiers are going to come in. This is select everything and attack move time.
Once Furies are aggressing, very, very brave of them. Very, very foolish in my mind, but this is still 17 seconds now. Jeez.
Yeah.
If the Superiors go down, if the Strofniki go down, this is still... Oh no, now it's 14-10.
Yeah, Northern
No, this
flag.
is going to go over here to IL-2 booty busting. Wow, that was a close one.
Yeah. Yepcock really making some great, both sides honestly, making great offensive plays. None of in tunnel vision. Up north, down south, in the center. They were maneuvering about. And that just led to a fantastic match.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh, but there we go. KD over here, pretty darn solid. Pretty even back and forth, actually. And you can see we are going to see a T-3045 doing very well for himself. We're seeing Yak-9 doing very well for himself. SE-152, solid. And, I mean, and that's kind of the name of the game. Ooh, the T-3476. That's the one that killed the Tiger. Yep. So, some standouts over here. Some real standouts.
Yeah. And then on the losses side, the Tiger, of course, picking up a lot of tanks. The 109 picking up a decent amount of aircraft. The other Tiger doing decent. Yeah, nothing that crazy from the German side, actually.
Honestly, had the HE-111s been a little bit more active a little bit earlier, I think that might have actually gone the other direction.
Great use of fire support, that's for sure. They were clearing the roof for Yepcock to maneuver on through, but it's always like the fun thing of Maverick towards the end is where you get very desperate. You always just find like a, that 10% reserve strength which you just left.
Mm-hmm.
And then when, push comes to shove and you get cornered in the corner, so to speak, I don't know where else one would get cornered, you end up just
Exactly.
managing to find that little bit of offensive power you have.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. But, folks, that was a real doozy right there, you have to admit. Other than that, though, I mean, well done to IL-2. Very, very close over here to Yepcock. And, I mean, really, sir, do you have anything else to add to that great game?
No,
I'm not sure I could add anything either. All right, folks, we're going to see you a little bit later this week. Until that time, I'm Con Olberg.
I'm Rangru, take it easy.